Caught on camera, a throwdown at a kindergarten graduation. We're talking about 5 and 6-year-old children getting into a fight, and their parents and family jumped in. It all happened in Fayette County in Somerville. Fox 13's Darcy Thomas explains how this all got started.
Graduations are times for making memories. These graduates were crossing over into the next journey of their life. This was supposed to be a time for kindergartners to be promoted to the first grade, but it turned into this fight. This video circulating online shows children breaking off into a fight during a graduation at Buckley Carpenter Elementary School.
The kids, that was an exciting day for them to be graduating kindergarten and, starting to be a big kid, and something like that happened is so sad. So sad for them.
I was expecting more of that from like a high school graduation. I didn't think it would be like at a elementary school, so that just threw me off guard.
Fayette County Sheriff said that this all began as an argument between several adults on the bleachers at the graduation. The argument ended with 10 to 12 adults and juveniles getting into a fight at the graduation. Sheriff arrested 3 people, Dontavius Gilcrease, along with a mother and daughter, Rhonda Humphrey and Taisha Humphrey. Fox 13 has learned as a result of Taisha's actions, a child suffered injuries to their face and head. Fox 13 was able to catch up with this mother, Rhonda. She told us that she was wrongfully arrested and that she didn't lay hands on anyone.
It's really embarrassing for our county. I just hope that the law gets to the bottom of this and not to clear my name and find out what really happened to my son, because the board won't allow me to look at the video. I got hysterical. The police called the ambulance. They said he had a little concussion. They released him.
She says her son was injured in the fight by an adult elbowing him in the head. However, school officials suspended her son for the rest of the school year until the school was able to prove that he wasn't fighting.
And my son got suspended, but they lifted suspension because they went back and looked at the tape and see where he had been injured by an adult figure. It really hurt me because I had went out my way to give him nice things so he could participate with his fellow classmates. He was stripped of that, and I can't get that back.
Sadly, many people we spoke to were surprised and shocked that something like this happened.
It doesn't surprise me because knowing where we live in a fallen world, people need the Lord Jesus Christ.
Man, what's going on at some of these ceremonies, these school graduations and ceremonies where you get some of the parents just out here just acting a fool. I mean, these ceremonies are for the children, so that their accomplishments and achievements could be celebrated. And I really hate that these kids, had to witness, that behavior when there were so many adults present. And I mean, as an adult, you don't jump in and continue to add fuel to an already volatile situation. I mean, this started as an argument among adults, some adults, I guess, on the bleachers, where I think 99% of the time, I believe these arguments, when they go down, it's not about anything. It's about some BS that I think could have been handled better than what we saw in that video. But what they decided to do, they decided to jump in it, and they decided that, I guess, their egos were more important than honoring the accomplishments and the achievements of those kids. And the adults, they made it about themselves, and they took the spotlight away from those kids. I get that, if somebody gets physically attacks you or whatever, if somebody attacks you physically, then you have to defend yourself. But these verbal tongue wrestling matches, going back and forth with other people, is not worth it, especially when there's kids present. And my thing is, then we got to understand that our children are always watching us, listening to us, and soaking up everything that we do and say. So we have to be cautious, and we have to be careful, when it comes to what we do and say around them, because if not, then we end up creating this standard that says to our children that this is acceptable behavior, and that this is the way you handle things, and this is how you act. And if that standard is allowed to continue when they're children, it eventually carries over into their adult lives. You know, I've seen it happen with some people, but I just think, some people just really need to start having more self control and emotional intelligence, and not let things like words get them so riled up to the point to where they're willing to, go out and try to hurt each other. And I think it was just probably one of those things where somebody had words and some people had words with each other, and those words were so-called disrespectful. You know how that goes, and somebody gets in their feelings, and now they're ready to fight or shoot it out. It's ridiculous and it just makes no sense. But I think pretty soon a lot of these schools, they're gonna be pretty much calling these events off. They're not gonna have them. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, if they stop having these ceremonies. Either that, or they're gonna stop allowing outside people, people outside, students and staff to attend in person. And if they do, I mean, you can't blame them. At that point, everything gets ruined for everybody. So yeah, I mean, make better choices. Try to be better examples for your children if you have children. Stop getting so worked up over these petty arguments and just bullshit drama and beef. Because I mean, this could have been a lot worse. Had somebody pulled out a gun and started just letting off shots in the crowd. Because we've seen that happen too. But just remember that the ultimate goal is to make it back home the same way you left or better. So take care, stay safe. Peace, y'all.